Episode 28. We march on relentlessly and excitedly with the 6-Star Business Podcast. I'm Pete Daly-Dixon, and I'm joined by...
I am Evelyn Clark, and welcome to episode 28, Pete. Here we are. Can you believe it?
Yeah, it's great. Just the quality of the conversations and the development of the community and the launching of our book. And it's like you pick something up and you start running with it, and then you kind of question who's the running, you or the thing.
Yeah, I don't want to try and answer that. But these guys, I reckon, could have answered that and probably did in this episode. Who have we got, Pete?
Sean Sullivan and Michael Griffiths.
These guys, for me, really brought it home in quite a number of ways. And there was just like these nuggets, wasn't there? There was these more bombs and truth bombs and just moments of tingles. I got tingles through this one.
Yeah. We started with their joint connection, if you like, with the Sydney Olympics, both involved in that, albeit in different ways. You'll need to listen to the episode to find out how. And then we just went on from there, just different but same, all exploring aspects of the 6-Star business. So we're sure you'll get something out of it, dear listener, and we'll see you on the other side.
See you there. Have fun.
I was on a Zoom call yesterday, and I also pay for 300 megabits per second. I ended up having to set up a hotspot on my phone
just to keep going.
Get going, yeah. Anyway, talking of getting going, Av, do you want to get this show on the road, so to speak?
Yes, I'm so excited. Thanks, Pete. And I just want to say welcome, Michael. Welcome, Sean. Thank you for joining Pete and I on the 6-Star Business Podcast today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Lovely to be here, Avalon.
I'm very excited. So typically just what we do just to get things going and for the benefit of our listeners, they don't know you. They know Pete and I, and they're sick of hearing our voices. So if you could just let us know who you are, where you are in the world, who you serve and how you serve them, and maybe something of interest that you like to do outside of in your spare time.
Away you go, Sean.
I was going to throw you in the deep end, but okay, great. Sean Sullivan. I'm the owner and operator of a company called Cool Runnings Business Solutions. In one way or another, I've been running my own businesses since the end of 2010, December 2010. So we're 11 years old. I'm coming to you from Angeles City in the Philippines, and this has been my home since COVID decided to stop the music, and this was the chair that I took, and someone forgot to turn the music on, so I've been here for, what do we have, COVID, a little over 17 months now, or 15 months. Something that, my spare time, my motorbikes. I love my motorbikes.
Fabulous. Thank you. Over to you, Michael.
Yeah, great to be with you. Michael Griffiths, founder of Referral Marketing Guru. We help service providers to be more remarkable, profitable, and impactful through what we call human marketing. So how do you generate more referrals? How do you use your networks more effectively? How do you leverage through partnerships? So this is our 7th business in the last decade, selling 6 along the way. And something I suppose we've become quite good at is just how to grow a business without having to spend a cent on paid ads and encompass brain chemicals and human instincts and primal ways. And you mix all of that together with human biology, psychology, and marketing, and you get how to just be a decent human being. So in essence, we help service providers to be able to do that into their business and be able to just be a little bit more remarkable. In Sydney, Australia, but what's something? I would say over the last 12, 18 months, really just becoming quite obsessed with how to push myself to a different level. I ran an ultra marathon 3 weeks ago. We're now looking at how to be able to go from the top of Australia in Darwin down to the bottom in Adelaide, which would take 180 days of non-stop walking. And we raise money for charity along the way. So yes, become very obsessed with just what can you do that you just don't even know you're capable of doing right now, and find a way to do it.
Well, there's nothing 6-star about that, is there, Ad?
Not at all.
Interestingly, you two, Michael and Sean, you actually have something common, albeit in a slightly different way. And it might be interesting just for Av's looking at me. What's he going? Where's he going with this? And I thought it might be interesting just at the top of the episode, just to have a little chat about it. And that's the Olympics.
Okay.
Okay, I didn't run in it, that's for sure. I don't know if Michael was running in it. So.
I know, so your involvement is slightly different, but there is a connection there, and I'm always fascinated in exploring connections. So, Sean, do you want to let Michael know what your involvement with the Olympics is?
Yeah, 98 to 2001, I was with SOCOG and was the logistics manager for Sydney Olympic Park. So that was for the common domain area, which was basically the whole of Sydney Olympic Park minus the competition venues. We designed and ran and operated the bump in, the daily resupply, the bump out, and the reclamation. So, and if you want something interesting, during the Olympics, I slept underneath the Olympic torch. I could hear it running all my day. Well, sorry, my night, which was daytime because I ran the nighttime resupply. But yeah, I was less than 100 meters from the torch.
Okay.
Love that.
Lovely. So I probably wouldn't have bumped into you, but we're in the same area during that time. So yeah, I was part of the women's Opals. Elite level basketball has been 14 for a long time. National League level, collegiate level over in the US, and was part of the 2000 and the 2004 Opals team, and 2 silver medals to the US. So elite level sport, and in particular the women's basketball program has been a good 20 years of life until my little one came along, and I went, time to stop. But now she's got a ball in her hand at age 7. So what does Dad do? He has to coach the team. So who knows? We might get back into it.
Oh, well, mate, that sounds exciting.
Yes, it was certainly, what an experience, and what an opportunity just to be in your own hometown, in your own country, in your own support. It's certainly a lot of things that you think that's already 21 years ago, yet I can remember so much like yesterday. So I suppose that's what they say is the evoking of warm, positive emotions, and you tend never to forget those sorts of memories or experiences.
Couldn't agree with you more. Pete, is that what you were looking for?
Yeah, like I say, I love exploring connections. I imagine, I should ask a question rather than make a statement. Is that how much of that background, involvement, immersion in sport at that level, Michael, is kind of coming into play in what you're doing now?
Yeah, it probably isn't something I have reflected on much until probably recently. So I was certainly someone grew up in Melbourne, very basketball heavy AFL here in Australia. By the time I was 10, I was part of state teams and junior national league teams, and knew nothing other than start training at 5 a.m, go to school, start training in the afternoon, play competitive senior level when I was sort of 12 years old against adults from, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and you don't really ever think much of it. And it's like, even just thinking, someone said something to me, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and I was saying, well, I started coaching representative basketball under 10s when I was 10. And you don't think much of it. You deal with parents and you deal with problems, and no, I was just coaching the game. I didn't really think much about anything other than, and you don't until you sort of become a bit of an adult, and then you sort of maybe start reflecting. But back then you just sort of did what was in front of you, and you just did it. And I think it's probably a great lesson that we maybe need to do a bit more of, is just don't think about it too much, and don't think about what people really think or what their thoughts are or opinions are going to be. Just do what's in front of us. And I probably never really thought much of it until probably the last 12 months, where a few things took place, and I really just sort of had enough of just meandering through life as such. And I went, you know what? Either go and do something and make the most of what you've been given the chance to do, or just accept average. And it's probably from that point, Pete, that everything that became instinctively over what, 12 years of elite level sport of playing, and then another 25 years of elite level sport in coaching. There's a lot of stuff that now just naturally comes out in how I am with our tribe and with our clients in terms of pushing them to accept that they can do more than what they think they can do.
The thing that I take away from the Olympics, it was coined the best games ever. In my non-biased opinion, it still has been the best games ever. If you want to talk about Six Star, that was the first Olympics that didn't ruin the country financially. And it was really, for me being a process person, it was very well thought out. And that's the takeaway that I take back from it. I still remember the time and effort and Michael said to because it was our country, because it meant so much to us, just like our businesses mean so much to us or should mean so much to us, you just went that extra level. It was natural. It wasn't even going an extra level. It was just the natural thing to do. And I still look back on those days with very fond memories.
That's awesome. Beautiful.
So, Sean, when you think about this concept of six-star business, when you heard about it for the first time, what grabbed your attention about it and has held your interest during that time enough to come on this podcast with us and chat about it?
Okay. Well, for the listeners, I knew both Evelyn and Pete from other circles prior to hearing of Six Star, and it was during those conversations that I found out about Six Star. And Pete, you probably remember my first thing was, well, there is no such thing as 6 stars. 5 stars, that's the limit. That's where that's where you go to. I still firmly believe that. What is the aspirational part of it is, well, why not? Why not that above and beyond? And being very maths based, you don't have 110%. It's just, you have 100%. That's it. It's full. It's done. Things. That's just where percentages are. That why not have 6 stars? Why not set a new baseline? A new benchmark, and everyone can do that. Doesn't matter whether you are in that journey. And I was thinking about this only last night in the drive home in the car, preempting for this is, it's not for me, for Cool Runnings, for our business. Are we 6 star in every element? No. Are we 5 star? No, we're not. And that's what upsets me, grates me, keeps me up at night is, we've let ourselves down, we've let our clients down, our processes have let down. But it's an aspirational thing, it's a focus, it's a target, it's a mindset. And to be able to say, okay, did we do better today than yesterday? And are we set up for tomorrow to do better than today? And that's what 6 star means to me.
Mm.
Where I take not having a maths brain, not having a logical, analytical brain, and go, don't be 6 star, be 10 star. Don't be 100%, be 1,000%. Don't be good. In fact, don't even be great. Be remarkable. This annoys the crap out of me. Sorry if we're not allowed to use language here.
No, you can drop anything you like.
Oh, can we? Oh.
But it annoys the absolute daylight out of me when people go, oh, but we're really good at that. You're supposed to be good at it. That's what you get paid for. Like, don't wear it as a badge of honor that we're good at something. Like, that's what you're supposed to be. I get that you compare yourself against most of the other businesses out there, which are pathetic, but you're supposed to be great at that. That's not something to be proud of. Something to be proud of is, how are you the absolute model that everyone else looks up to and goes, I want to be like that. That's 6 stars.
Michael, our annual planning session is May. We run a June to May year for our business planning. And up until this May, our company guarantee was we deliver. and putting it straight into what you've just said, well, that's just a hygiene factor. Well, if we don't deliver, why are we going to? How do we stay in business? And we've actually moved that to our guarantee is if we select to work with you, and that there's a big if in there, but if we select to work with you, we guarantee that we'll be friends at the end of the process. Now, we're not necessarily talking about candlelit dinners at the end of the process, but all of those things that are hygiene factors then fall under that, because if you don't underserve your friends, you shouldn't. Not if they're true friends. You wouldn't underserve them. You wouldn't be dishonest with them. You wouldn't give them less than Michael's 1,000%, my 100%. You wouldn't give them less than, because that's what you do with friends. And so that's where we've changed in our mindset in our business, moving towards that 6-star, or moving to controlling that is we not want to be. We guarantee that if we work with you, we will be friends at the end of it.
Certainly moving it more towards a human factor, a human element, a human factor, rather than just being a hygiene factor. What's your take on what Sean said, Michael?
Yeah, it's the difference between being we're just doing the best we can, which is generally poor, to we do things really good or we do things great, to it absolutely annoys the daylights out of me if we're not the best at it, is all just a way of thinking. And for most businesses, there is a scarcity mindset. And therefore, and I suppose you take it all the way back to, hey, caveman days, what we would create, caveman brain was there to survive. I need to find food, I need to find shelter, I need to protect myself, I need to survive. Well, fast forward millions of years, our brain is still there to do the same thing. It's there for survival. So therefore, the brain keeps us in fear, and it has our little voice of questioning, should we really do that or should we not? And it doesn't help us in business because it makes us more transactional and what I call the hunter rather than the farmer. And we sort of talk about going from the hunter transaction thinking to the transformational farmer thinking, where it's plant the seeds, nurture, water the crops, and then the crops grow, and then you can harvest, but you certainly ain't going to kill them because you want the crops to reproduce time and time and time and time and time. That's not an easy mindset to get to when you're worrying about how am I going to keep the roof overhead? How am I going to make sure I've got food on the table? How am I going to make sure that the kids have clothes? How am I going to... And it's that constantly then stops us from probably really going out there and going like, what we do right now is you don't pay a cent, and we work with you for the first 30 days in what we call our Love It program. And we're either going to love working with each other and we'll continue, or we won't, and we'll finish up right there. How many people are willing to work with someone, put in time, effort for the first 30 odd days with nothing? Now, for someone starting off in business, they'd be going, well, that's suicide. I'm not even making a cent. I'm putting in all this time and effort and I'm getting nothing back. But that's the transaction survival brain versus trying to get all the way up to that transformational thinking of going, you know what? I'm only ever going to get absolutely unbelievable clients by doing it this way. I'm actually going to prove myself, and therefore we're going to have less fires down the track. We're going to have people who rant and rave and are walking billboards because of it. Plus, we're going to have something pretty unique compared to everybody else. That's hard to get that thinking without having a whole bunch of different things that you've worked on mindset-wise beforehand. So a lot of getting down to 6-star and remarkable, as we call it, really comes down to your self-belief, your self-confidence, your air of good arrogance, as we call it. It's not about being arrogant, but you need swagger about it. And that comes down to what do you do to win every little things every single day? that creates that belief, that creates that confidence, that creates that air of good arrogance and swagger for you to be able to go, you know what, sending a birthday card actually isn't all that special. You should just do that anyway. How about we do this instead? So that's, yeah, a bit of food for thought to where I think it all fits in.
Oh, I've got something. I'm trying to unpack something out of that, Michael. Then how would a business that post-COVID, coming out of COVID now, almost grabbing at anything that they can get at because they do have to keep the roof over the head, keep the electricity on, keep the internet on so they can make the calls and do the Zooms and everything like that. How do they get to having the capacity, the mental capacity, that space to go to transformation? Or do you say to them, don't, just get out of survival first?
Yeah, it's you've got to be able to do it at the same time. And so therefore you probably don't have, well, we're going to work with you for free and find out whether we actually love working with each other or not. But there could be some other way of doing it that lowers risk. But it's at the same time still needing to be able to be in an environment that allows your thinking to be more of a growth mindset, to be more of an abundance mindset, even though it's not. And what you have in the conversations with yourself probably needs to be impacted by having better conversations with people who are well and truly not in that space right now, because that will drive you and give you more inspiration to get out of there quicker. So I think it's very much a catch-22. But in the end, and I've just really going back to reading Outwitting the Devil, which Napoleon Hill's manuscript was written in like 1937 and not published until 2011. But to think of the principles that he was writing back in the 1930s and just how spot on in terms of having definitive purpose, having people around who are better than what you are right now in their thinking, to be able to ensure that you are constantly being lifted up. And in essence, that's how someone right now who's in sort of survival mode gets out of survival mode much faster, is by trying to get around people who are going to give them different ways to think of things rather than them being stuck in their own head.
That's really interesting. Thank you, Michael. And that speaks to, I guess, having a community of different people, but caring people around you.
Yeah, 100%. I say this quite regularly to people that we just do things with, and I get them to stop there and then. I get them to go, hey, just pull out your phone and send any five people. I don't care who they are, their partners, spouses, clients, just people, friends, family, and just go and send them a text, send them an SMS that just simply goes, hey, hope you have an amazing day. And that's it. And the only objective by sending that text is that you want to put a smile on their face. So we get them to do that. And then I go, okay, so now you've done that. What did you notice? The first thing they always notice is, I actually felt really good doing it. Yeah. So the thing is, though, you're not doing it for your own benefit, and you're not doing it because you want a response back. Like, that's their next level, when you can just do it going, you know what? I actually just want to make this person feel good today. Because I've got no idea what they're going through, and I've got no idea what's happening in their life, and I've got no idea what's happened this morning. But if they read that and put a smile on their face, unbelievable. And if you did that over and 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 over again, eventually it sort of just becomes, again, a part of you and a part of how you are. And one thing that we just know to be true is like attracts like. Like, Doug's, great people attract great people, and it's not luck that happens. It happens because we will always get around and be a magnet to people who are very similar to us. So if we become good at just doing something like that, we'll end up getting in contact with a lot more people who have that way of thinking, of, you know what, it's actually got nothing to do with me right now. It's got everything to do with, hey, how do I just make you feel good today?
That's similar to a rule that I attempt to live by, and that's perception is projection. And by that meaning, just unpacking that is, if I'm, and just going back to the people that are struggling in the COVID, if they're focused on that and they're perceived that it is struggle street, they're projecting struggle street.
Mm-hmm.
And their potential customers, the people that are around them, the people that if that's the way that you're looking on the outside, that's the way you're feeling on the inside. And the people that are probably best able to help pull you out of there are not going to want to hang around with you either. So if you're not attracting the right people, you're pushing them away. There's only two ways to go. There's nothing sits and not moves.
Yeah, 100%.
It's no surprise that mindset has come up a lot during the conversations we've had about being 6-star. This is the first time that I recall, Michael, that your particular, what you said there, that mic drop moment about working with clients for 30 days that love it. Is that something that you said you're on your 7th business? Is that something that you've always done, or is this something new in this business? Is this something that you've kind of just intuitively found your way into? What's been your journey to get to having that in your business?
Yeah, no, this is a brand new one. I suppose what I'm always looking at, simply because I do it with our own clients so often, is like, what makes you remarkable? So we actually have, they call it an A4 piece, and it sits on websites, it sits on thank you pages, it sits with our clients. We let anyone see it. And it goes, this is what makes us remarkable. This is what our ideal client is. And this is what is an A, B, C, and D client to us, with different ticks of how they are. So pretty much we're letting anyone look at that and go, if this isn't what you want, if this doesn't resonate with you, if you don't want to be an A client, that's fine. Go somewhere else, because we don't need you around us. So I'm huge on going, get the right people to run towards you and the wrong people to run away from you fast. See, generally as business owners, what are we? Oh, you come to me and you come to me and you come to me, and you know what, I can change my things a little bit and you'll fit in too. And all we do is just make things even harder for ourselves. So this is a fairly new one, because as I was sitting there going, okay, so what can we do that makes us remarkable? So it's invite only into our partnership club through current members. That's the only way that you can be part of our program. That's it. We start off with our 30-day love it period. And if we're not a fit at any stage during that time, we just finish up. We're done. Right? You can't come back to us. Right? You get one shot, you get one, that's it. Now, this is coming back to going, hey, if we have a couple of hundred clients, we're done. Well, how many billions of people are there in the world? Right? Well, you just go, and I saw it this morning, let's just take, just because it's topical right now, and Pete over in your neck of the woods, and you just look at the Italy-Spain game at Wembley Stadium, and how many people were there? 50-odd thousand. Oh, I need 200. So hold on, there's 50,000 just at that one place, and I need 200. They don't give me this, oh, I don't know where to be able to find them. It's so scarce. Rubbish. So when coming up with what makes us remarkable, all of my things are more, in essence, a little bit of how we want our relationship to be with our clients, more so than things of, hey, look at us, how great we are. I don't think we need that. So another thing we've got there is we do different challenges with our clients. We do 4 a year to raise money for different charities. So at the sort of February, where it's warmer over here, we do Laps for Life, which is swimming laps to raise money for youth suicide. And then there's another one where we're down in Melbourne, and they've got, similar to the Empire State Building, you climb the stairs. So you do the stairs of the Empire State Building. You do the same thing in a big building down in Melbourne. So it's raising money by doing the steps. I think it's something like 16th floor, 1,600 steps or something up and down. So we find different things to do. Now, if someone doesn't want to be a part of that, that's fine, but you just don't fit into our type of person. So in essence, the 30-day love it part came from, I'm huge on just looking, what do big brands do that you can take the concept and go, how can I put that into my little world? And you've got constantly people with try it and so forth. And it came where I saw an ad towards sort of the middle of last year where a bed company came and said, don't just come into the showroom and lay on the bed for a couple of minutes and see whether you like it. That's going to tell you nothing. Take the bed home for 100 days and sleep on the bed for 100 days, and you can either return it or you can keep it. And I went, yeah, they've hit the nail on the head. Because every other showroom, what are they doing? Come into our showroom and lay on it and feel good and spend the morning laying on our showroom bed. Well, that doesn't really tell you anything. And these guys then took it to a whole other level. And I think where my thinking always wants to be, and it hasn't always been like that, it certainly is like that now, is like, how do you take things to a whole nother level of where someone just goes, I wasn't expecting that. Because to me, that's what 6-star and that's what remarkable is. So I'll just share this story. I've probably only shared it about 20 times this week alone, let alone. It happens.
So no, we haven't got the scoop on this one then.
No. Well, it happened 20 years ago. One of our clients told this to me probably a year ago. And it happened 20 years ago. So imagine how many times this has been told, just in terms of when you hear what happens, how smart a move it was to do it. So this person was traveling from Sydney to Singapore on Singapore Airlines, business class, him and his wife, and the meal comes out and there's a rock in the salad. Okay, it's a nice rock, but obviously the rock's not supposed to be in the salad. So what do you expect? Like if you're flying business class, a good reputable airline, what would you expect? You'd expect them to be really apologetic and you'd expect them to replace the salad and they'd probably give you a bottle of champagne and they'll keep checking up on you and they're really wanting to make sure that they do a good job. Like that's what you'd expect. Right? Anything less than that, you'd probably whinge and complain that you had a terrible experience. So obviously, that's what happened. They did a good job and they replaced the salad and they got a bottle of champagne and they kept being checked on. So they get to Singapore and they get to the hotel, and within an hour of getting into the hotel, they get a phone call from Singapore Airlines. Not the customer service manager, not the marketing person, the head of Singapore Airlines phones them. We heard what happened on your flight. We are absolutely mortified. We've already refunded your flights. We've already done this. We're really sorry that's happened. Please accept our apologies. Now, that might have cost Singapore Airlines, I don't know, $5,000, $10,000. I've told the story 20 times this week, let alone probably 100 times since me hearing it. The person who actually it happened to, think how many thousands of times he's told the story, let alone then all the other offshoots. That's when you go, I didn't expect that to happen. And to me, that's what I want to do within our business all the time. Because when we talk about client referrals, well, the easiest way to get client referrals is to evoke a positive emotion through the experiences they have with you so they can go and tell a story to their friends. Now, for most businesses, they just don't get that level of thinking to be able to go, how do I go to a, I didn't expect that to happen type of story.
That's almost like a tagline to 6-star business. Is I love that. It's like, and it's that vocalization at the beginning as well. I was not expecting that. And that was my reaction when you were telling the story about Singapore Airlines. It was like, I was not expecting that.
And when you think about it, most people talk about negative experiences with the same tagline. Because they're not expecting the bad experience either, but they're never saying it at the other end.
One of the notes I just jotted down while Michael was telling the story was, apart from, I didn't expect that to happen. I think that's great, and I'll be sharing that with my team tomorrow, with my leadership team, it's the recovery that makes the difference. We don't always get it right in everything. An Olympic hurdler, you're going to have a bad run one day. There's going to be hurdles everywhere. But it's the recovery. It's how you're working with your friends, as I would call them, or the clients, to recover. Quickly acknowledge that something's gone tits up. Don't try and hide it. Be open and honest. Be sincere. And then go whatever it takes to get it right, to fix it. And that's what they'll talk about. They won't talk. They're very different from the rock and the salad to bitching and moaning about how you're never going to fly an airline again because you got a rock and a salad, to a story that's told how many times a week in the last 20 years. As you said, I didn't expect that to happen. I love that. I love that saying.
There is an aspect for me, Michael, though, sort of coming back to what you're talking about, the transactional mindset and the scarcity mindset, is that in the moment, on a smaller scale, how does someone get to a point where that investment of $5,000 or $10,000 from Singapore Airlines, that's an investment which must have paid dividends over the years that the story has been told and retold again, and it's kind of it's not an isolated incident. Is part of what I'm saying as well, is that everyone knows that Singapore Airlines is just the benchmark in terms of those sort of experiences. But even so, I would not expect what you said. So how do you go from, I've been paid X $1,000 by this client, something's happened, I want to recover from it, and actually I could use this as an opportunity to invest in a remarkable story, but I've got bills to pay and.
Yeah. You need to live by an ethos and value that no matter, even if things are tough, you've got to act as if they aren't. So part of what makes us remarkable is we have 10 times return on investment guarantee in the first 12 months, or we'll work with you for free until we do. Now, if I were to work with you for the next 5 years to reach that, but that's what we'll do. Because the only thing that matters to me is that you are a client of ours for life. That doesn't mean that you need to be paying us for a life, but when we enroll clients for life, now they might be with us, our average person's with us for sort of 4.5 years. But then after that, they're still a client. They're still part of the family because they've still got a mouth. They've still got networks. They've still got people that they come across every single day, and we still want them talking. So therefore, we want to make sure that the way that relationship is that they know that they're part of our family. So with that ethos and those values, it might not be that, okay, we can give you $20,000 because we don't have $20,000 in the bank, but then you change it from that being what you do to how will I still be able to make this up to you in another way that still allows you to achieve the end result or the outcome that should have happened. And it's just about being able to think outside the box. So a lot of people just get so caught up in it has to be done a particular way. No, it doesn't. It can be done whatever way you come up with that makes the other person know that you really actually care about them and the end result for them. And it's got actually nothing to do with you.
And I was going to ask you, Michael, if you're going to work, you're going to work with client A for 5 years to get it right. There must have been some heavy pre-screening and filtering before you decided to take that client on in the first place.
I don't think we've ever had to give back someone their money or work with them for free.
Yeah,
because we know that what we do and what we get, the results, they get the results. But that's what I'd be willing to do.
Yeah. In your front end process, though, we heard it's by invitation only. So even that is a filter and a screening process. It's not open. It's not open to everyone. I think for a business to be able to give those guarantees and align them with their values, and they have to be aligned with their own business values. So what we're talking about mightn't be exactly the same values that another business has. Or business owner has. So this is general advice only, and we are not the usual accountant thing that you hear before somebody comes out. Go and see your own advice if in your own head. You look inside, but setting the expectation and understanding, having that coming to mind, communication, having a coming to mind, and that dialogue at the beginning that says this is what success looks like at the end. Otherwise, in trying to maintain that client, if you haven't agreed and have got a very clear picture on what success looks like at the end of that paid piece of work or service or whatever it is, you may have someone that says, no, but I want more, and no, I still want more, and I'm still not happy, and I'm still not happy. And then you have your team saying, hey, where did all this scope creep come from? So you have to be very clear at the front end of what you're delivering that 6 stars on. What does 6 stars look like? What does 5 stars look like? What does success look like? What have you sold for this? Because if you don't have that, then there's no reference point, I'm sorry, to even find 6 stars. Because you didn't expect that to happen. Well, I did. You just didn't make it clear at the beginning. I thought that was always the case. So set those expectations at the beginning.
Yeah, I've always been a big believer in expectations, and we know that most relationship breakdowns or failures to communicate based on people's expectations not being met. And yet what I'm hearing from this entire conversation is that there's something else to be 6 star. It's not just about the expectation setting, is it?
Oh, 100%. It's not about that, no. But if you don't, you don't build a castle on sand. You have to have foundations in. You have to have a starting framework. Because if you don't, and again, that's the mathematician and the scientist in me, by the way, Bachelor of Science, having that, I have to have that baseline. There has to be a start and a finish. That's how processes work. There has to be a start and a finish. It might hand off into something else. You might get there faster. You might there's a whole great ways to delight, but you have to know. In my line of business, we have to know where we're starting and where we're finishing, because then we can work towards delivering and delighting and having a client go, wow, thanks for that. That's awesome.
And hopefully also saying, I didn't expect that.
Well, Michael said the remarkable thing, those few things that set his business apart, we call them uniques. One of ours is we're not afraid of the impossible. As a business, and as I love to be given the impossible problems. I don't say that I can solve 100% of those problems, but I love to be given them. You give me that crossword and I'll sit there and do it for you. Why are you untying that string? Just throw it out and get a new one. Why? Because it can't be done and I'm going to do it. And work out how this knot went together. That's just how I put together. So
the scientist in you.
Yeah, it is. I find I'm very unbalanced. When the universe around me is unbalanced, when the processes are unbalanced, I'm unbalanced within. And I want to get to my center, so I have to fix everything.
That's great, Sean. Wonderful insight there. But Michael, you mentioned that when you're talking about what makes you remarkable, you tend not to, what is it you said? You tend not to communicate it in terms of what you do, but how your clients feel. Is that, have I kind of interpreted that correctly? Could you just give us 6 examples about how you communicate that Referral Marketing Guru is remarkable?
Yeah. So coming back to that last part of getting to be 6-star, to me, actually has nothing to do with your business. It has everything to do with how you are as a person. And if you can't be 6-star yourself, then you got no hope of your business ever being 6-star. So to me, it comes down to a lot, and whether you like it or not, how you are in your personal world will always closely resemble to how you are in your business. But the two go hand in hand. You can tell me, anyone can say, oh no, I can put a wall there and separate them. Rubbish. What's happening in your business will affect your personal world, and what happens in your personal world will affect your business. There is no other way, because we're emotional human beings. So with that, you have to be 6-star yourself. What's your commitment to you? How do you show up every day? How do you win every day? I can leave that to tomorrow. Is that good enough for you? Because if it is, then it's good enough for what happens in your business too. If I've got through 5 of my 6 tasks, I can just make those last 3 calls tomorrow. If that's acceptable to you, then you can't be 6-star in your business, because you can't be 6-star for yourself. Yeah. If you go, well, I'm going to finish my 6 water bottles and get my 4 litres of water in today, but after 3, doesn't matter, I've done a pretty good job today. Well, you're already setting up that you ain't 6-star. So to be 6-star starts with how you are. And if you can't be 6-star as a person, you can't expect your business, you can't expect to lead your team, you can't expect anyone else to be 6-star. So
100%.
Yeah, go on, Sean.
Just the lowest level, there's a belief that I take into my business. The lowest level I turn up at is the highest level anyone under me can reach.
Yeah.
How I turn up in my business. So if me not getting through my to-do list, me not getting back to a client, well, I don't wear shoes to work, so but if there was a dress code, if I didn't do that, then how could I expect my team to do it? You just, there's no chance.
No, correct. So that as a starting point then sort of leads on to going, okay, so what makes you remarkable? We're ego-driven. So for most people, when they go, well, what makes us unique? What makes us remarkable? They'll put things down that makes them feel good by achieving them. Because in the end, that's how we are as humans. If people ain't patting ourselves on the back, then we'll do things to make sure that we pat ourselves on the back so that we feel good and we feel that we have significance. I sort of go, well, if you can put things that are more so how you want the relationship to be or how you want them to feel, and you sort of can remove yourself from we're great at this type statements, I feel that's more powerful. To me, that's sort of the next level. So I think it's really easy, and what lots of people do is like, we're unique because we do this. Look at us. Here I am, look at me type statements. There's nothing wrong with that. But the next level is taking yourself out of that to go, us as a team, client and business together, we actually want it to be like this together. And I think that sort of becomes powerful at the next stage.
Well, I'm conscious of the time. I feel like we've entered into another level of this conversation, and I feel a little bit regretful and sad that we have to kind of wind this up. Pete, have you got any final thoughts, comments, or questions for Michael and Sean?
I do. I have loads of comments and thoughts and questions for both Michael and Sean, but I have no time within which to put them out. There's a lot of gold in this episode. There's a lot of mic drop moments. I might actually get an audio sample of a mic dropping and put that into the episode when I edit it. Yeah, just fantastic conversation, gentlemen. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you both being here. Thank you so much. It's just been a delight, honestly. I can't wait to listen to this again and just absorb all of that gold. It's been brilliant.
I've had so much fun. Thank you, Avalon and Peter. Special thanks to Michael. I spent a great hour getting to know a bit more about Michael and as the referral marketing guru. If I could just give one parting thing that's completely unrelated to today, but I was listening to the back episodes, episode 19 with Tracy and Amber, and the question came out about how to 6-star when you're outsourcing. Okay, Michael made something very there, and it was just tying in onto that. Outsourcing, insourcing, whatever it is, if you're not running your hiring decisions through exactly the same processes, you're not going to get it. So it doesn't matter whether you're outsourcing, whether you're hiring for your internal teams. If you want a 6-star business, you have to run them through the same rat race that you're running yourself through to say, are you turning up?
Yep. Brilliant.
It was an open loop. I had to close it. Sorry.
So once again, thank you, Michael. Thank you, Sean. And we'll keep in touch as we continue to get to know each other more over the coming months and years.
Awesome. It's been wonderful.
Lovely. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
That was another stimulating, thought-provoking episode of the 6-Star Business Podcast.
Thank you so much for getting this far. Please go ahead, like, subscribe, and give us a comment, review.
A rating, if there was a 6-star, we'd love you to give us a 6-star rating, but just go as high as you can.
And if you want to continue the conversation with us and all the cool people who've joined us from the podcast, head on over to apply.6starbusiness.community.
See you there.